And I'm home. You ready for your close-up, cutie pie? Huh? Bud, you want some water? Yeah, you want some water? Look, here. Water. Ah, damn it. Hey. About half an hour after I recorded that update at Kantika, I got pretty sick. Body aches, feeling a little feverish, chills, kind of. I don't think I ever had a fever, but and pretty severe stomach pains, and then I got diarrhea. So, and it became clear very quickly that there was no way that I was getting back out on trail the next day. So I went ahead and headed home. A wonderful woman named Cindy, who works at Kantika, drove me down to Ironwood, where I was able to catch a bus home. I was already planning on going home after I finished Wisconsin for a visit, so I went home early. And I didn't plan to be off trail for this long. I've been off for just over a week, I think, maybe 8 days. When I got sick, my fear was that I'd somehow managed to pick up Giardia, aka beaver fever, despite being, filtering all of my water. But I wanted to get checked out for that because from what I read, you can feel better, but then it comes back again a couple weeks later. So just wanted to get checked out. I tested negative for all parasites and waterborne diseases, so that's great. So I've gotten the all clear, and I will be heading back out tomorrow. And I am very excited and also very nervous.
All right, Sarah's driving me back to where I left off, and we're on Forest Road 400. Oh, I'm feeling nervous. Feeling a little nervous here. Well, watching her drive away doesn't feel terrifying or anything. Oh. All right, the last time I was here, I just sat and stared at this trail heading west, feeling totally defeated. Oh, all right, I can do this. I had really gotten into my head about what happened when I got off trail. A little afraid, scared that I would get back out here and then, get sick again or just have something happen. So got a little shaken up, but I'm just going to take it easy, go slow, and enjoy the forest. And it's really good to be back. I'm so glad it feels like that. It's really good to be back in the quiet, with the birds and the trees. The city is very noisy. It's really good to be back in the quiet. First raspberries of the year. I'm enjoying the heck out of this day. I'm feeling very reassured. One of the clues for me that something was wrong
before I got off the trail was that I was looking at incredible views like this, and I just couldn't appreciate them. I was looking out at the hills and just dreading having to climb over them. And now I'm looking at them and I'm just in love. I'm in love. Oh yeah. First thimbleberry. Oh, these are my favorite. They're like a little burst of sunshine in your mouth. Hey bug, get out of there.
The gentle rain on the tent is hypnotic. I called Joan Young. She was the first person to come hike with me. First woman to finish an end-to-end hike by foot on the North Country Trail. And I was halfway back to the trail in Duluth and kind of struggling with my thinking, and she was awesome and kind of gave me moral support, but also pragmatically searched out potentially help for that day if I need it. So thanks, Joan. I really appreciate it. Oh, the farther I get down this trail, the more I feel like I'm walking the miles, but it's a team effort. So, really appreciate you guys. Thank you. And now I'm gonna go to bed early. Good night. Last climb in the Trap Hills. I don't know, is Bergland Hill considered part of the Trap Hills? I'm climbing Bergland Hill. But it's for sure the last climb before I get into the Porkies. So I made it through the trap once I get over this hill. Oh, just taking an early lunch here on Bergland Hill. The rain really kind of cooled it down, so the hiking's been really nice. My brain doesn't feel like it's melting anymore. The one funny thing that keeps happening today is I think I'm like just really close to where the time zone changes, so my phone keeps flipping back and forth between time zones. So I don't really know what time it is, and that doesn't really matter except for knowing how much daylight I have, but luckily I'm doing a short day, so I don't think it really matters. But so nice that time doesn't matter out here. This is awesome. So in this trail register, Craig and Tara left an entry July 23rd, and this was in 2017. Sorry, mosquito. Get off me. There's another one. They were the ones who told me about the North Country Trail. I was doing my through hike of the Superior Hiking Trail. And I met them at a campsite toward the southern end. I just started, and they told me about their trek. They did an amazing thing. Oh my gosh, the mosquitoes are terrible here. I'm sorry. So I finally made it where I was trying to make it the day I got sick and Sarah pulled me off the trail. So this is M64. Having hiked it now and remembering how terrible I felt those last 3 days on trail, there's no way I would have made it. hear that? No? Yeah, it's because there's nothing to hear. It's totally peaceful and quiet. Camped out near the west branch of the Big Iron River, I think, in the middle of the Ottawa National Forest. The nearest road is 5 miles away. There's no one out here. While I was recouping at home, just wonderful to be able to spend time with my mom and cuddle with my puppy, take him on a bunch of walks, see my friends, kind of get that social connection, that connection to my community. I had been missing them terribly. But man, every time I go back to the city after spending an extended period of time in the woods, the constant chaotic noise of a city gets harder and harder for me to deal with. I grew up in a city, you know, I think there's a lot of amazing good parts about population density, dynamic economies, it's easier to find work, great education, high quality medical care, the arts, you know. There's so much great art in the Twin Cities and music. There's all sorts of positives, but we sacrifice quiet. And at least for me, I've come to understand that it's something that I need. And I've developed a very unscientific theory about this. Sample size 1, me. But, you know, I think humanity is kind of at an interesting development point. You know, we've advanced very quickly, but a large part of our bodies are still, you know, kind of primitive. We've got our whole somatic system that, you know, that system that keeps you breathing without thinking and is responsible for triggering your adrenaline rush and all of that stuff. And I think there's just always a part of our minds, kind of a primitive part, our lizard brain, that is, it just has to respond to big, booming, banging noises, right? And those just happen constantly in the city. And every time they do, I think there's just a little stress response. A little stress response is, you know, because stress is just your body kind of like turning on, you know, like, do I need to run from this? You know, is this a threat? And they just happen all the time. Out in the woods, they don't. It is really rare for a big booming noise to happen. You know, it's basically thunderstorms. And I think this morning, like, a branch fell out of a tree. You know, if you're someone who's like struggling with anxiety and nothing seems to be working for you, try the woods cure, man. You know, go out somewhere quiet for a few days. You don't have to bring a 30-pound backpack. Just, you know, find a little cabin or something, rent a cabin, but just get away from all the chaos, the constant cacophony of chaotic noise in the city. See what that does for you. Because I think I am not alone in this need. I am having a beautiful morning on the bridge. Yes, I like hanging out on bridges, not under them, on them. It's pretty funny, right after I recorded that long monologue about peace and quiet, I heard a lawnmower or a mower for hours. And I mean, there's really like, there's nothing out here. I'm pretty sure people don't have cabins out here. So that leads me to believe that someone from the trail chapter was out here mowing until like 10 o'clock at night, you guys. That's how dedicated the volunteers on this trail are. I think that was the Pacific Crest Trail Association released a pretty incredible fact, which is that in America there are 55,000 miles of footpath. That's awesome. Way to go, America. But that figure also made me realize, you know, how many people are out there every day mowing trails at 10 o'clock at night. And, you know, the reason why they do that, because I think, like me, they believe
quiet, wild spaces that you can walk through without getting lost, hence the trail, are really important. So thank you, whoever was out here late. The other really hilarious thing that happened last night was, this happens to me at least once or twice a week, is I got woken up in the middle of the night by a deer screaming at me. I don't know if they're screaming at me. It feels that way because they come right next to me and start screaming. This one was also like banging on something. It must have been a buck. Very short day again. I think it's just about 8 trail miles. And then 2 miles of road walking into my campsite at the White Pine Extension Campground in the Porkies. Officially entering the Porkies today. Short day. Where do I have to go? Nowhere. I can relax. All right, so this pink flag, I believe, is the new route. There's going to be a new route through the Porcupine Mountains Wilderness State Park that goes up to the Lake of the Clouds, which is so awesome, and along the escarpment trail. I'm bummed I don't get to do it, but c'est la trail, c'est la hike. That was my deer fly I killed for them. Little gift for the fishies. This is another parasitic plant called Indian ghost pipe, also corpse plant.
But other than I didn't see a single backpacker in Wisconsin. A few day hikers. Superior's certainly busy. I saw one backpacker this year on the Border Route Trail.
Okay.
And other than the state park stuff, which is a good trail, I have to say, Porcupine was nice, but it was also loaded with people. The other side of the Porcupine State Park.
Long road walk, right? Or are you talking about the washouts and on the way to?
Well, I'm talking about no trail whatsoever.
Oh, okay.
And Strider block. This is I'm pretty sure that's where he said he got completely discombobulated, spent hours trying to figure out where he was and where he was supposed to go.
Okay.
And melted down and ended up walking over to the road and walking out. Well, nothing's improved since he's come through there.
Okay.
There's no trail there.
Okay.
After a while, I got close enough to the highway, I could hear the cars, and I said, this is bullshit. I'm going over the road. And that's where I went.
Okay, so this sounds even, you've done the border route and the Kekikavik, which are I've done those too, and there are definitely times on those trails where they're hard to follow, not impossible, but hard. It's worse than that.
When did you do the Kek?
I did the Kek last year.
You're kidding me.
No.
That's when I did it.
Yeah, I was on it early September.
All right, well, I was on it late July, and it was the hardest trail. I've done 15,000 miles of this stuff. So,
wow.
So it was the hardest trail I've ever been on.
All right, I'm camped out at White Pine Extension Campground here in Porcupine Mountains Wilderness State Park, also known as the Porkies. I am so glad that I ran into Zenquake. That's something I'm not getting on this trail, is kind of running into other hikers coming the opposite direction and getting really up-to-date trail information. So the trail information I got from him really reassured me about tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be my first big miles since I got sick, and I was very worried about it. My confidence definitely took a hit in the trap hills for sure. All right, I got out of camp by 7:11. Knocked out that road walk real quick. No longer worried about today. I'm just really excited. And then it's going to join up with Lake Superior for a very short stretch. It'll only be about 6 miles. That's the part of the trail that has me a little worried today. Joan Young, when I talked to her, she said that was a pretty rugged
stretch because a lot of little creeks intersect the shoreline, and the trail just kind of runs up and down their little creek ravines. Having your most difficult stretch of the day be at the very end of the day is generally not when you want that to happen, but hey, that's a huge part of this experience, right? Everything is out of my control, and I just have to accept it, do the best I can, and keep going. I am so happy that I'm not at work right now. I'm sorry, I know I'm rubbing it in. But this is an important kind of daily meditation I do to keep my motivation up for this hike. I really enjoyed my job that I left. Found it very fulfilling. My coworkers were amazing. Had a great team. And I had a phenomenal office. I used to joke that I had the office of a VP because it had this stunning view of the Mississippi River Valley. And that view tortured me on an almost daily basis. You know, I would sit at my desk day in, day out, watching the seasons pass, watching the beautiful days pass, and just wish with everything that I was out hiking. So I try to remember that feeling of frustration. I'm so grateful I get this long, extended time out here. I'm so grateful. Mosquitoes and all.
It only took me 800 miles to figure out to leave the bottles in my pack when filling them. Yeah, I'm a tree hugger. I'm proud of it.
Back at the lake. It's gonna be a short reunion, but I'm still happy about it. I may be having a perfect day, you guys. I'm gonna remember this one for a long time. This will be one of the days I think back on that will make me want to do this again. Pretty sure I've eaten my body weight in thimbleberries.
All right, this drives me bonkers. So I'm gonna do a little trail PSA. This is toilet paper right next to a flowing creek, okay? So a water source. So first thing, please do not pee right next to a water source, okay? I just pulled drinking water out of here before I realized somebody just peed here. General rule of thumb, please pee at least 200 feet away, okay? And poop, dig a cat hole 4 to 6 inches deep. You can bury your toilet paper in there. For peeing, so here's my system for peeing in the woods. So I've got my toilet paper in a plastic bag. I've usually got a couple smaller rolls, kind of like my allotment for the day, just sitting on top so I can just pull it out nice and easy. if it's not raining, I just even leave this open in the bag for quick access. And I don't take it out of the bag, I just put it right there. And then, when I'm done, this little baggie is for used toilet paper. So when I'm done, instead of dropping on the ground next to a water source, I just put it in my used toilet paper baggie. And then at the end of the day, I dump that into either a trash can or my trash bag that I have with me. Easy peasy.
Made it. Dang, those 6 miles of that Lake Superior Trail are no joke. Some treacherous going on that. Wore me out. But I made it here to camp, so happy about that. And I'm gonna try not to worry about tomorrow until tomorrow. Yeah. The pattern has been when I have a long day that I feel great on, then the next couple days I just feel like trash. I got 2 more days before I get to town. So we shall see.
Just having my breakfast near the gorgeous waterfall here. Nutella on top of a Cliff Bar. My thinking on this one, I read an interesting article on the truck when I was home. That this guy kind of tracked his health stats with his doctor before and after a through hike. And one interesting thing that they found, and this was just for this guy, is that his body had switched from using mostly carbs for energy to using mostly fat. And I guess that's been backed up by other research, maybe. I don't know. I took it as an excuse to start eating a lot more fat.
Okay, I checked in with the at the ranger station on the western side of the park here, and he was like, okay, are you okay? I was like, I'm good. So I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know. It didn't seem necessary, but and he confirmed that this stretch of the North Country Trail is not currently maintained. So my choice here would be I could just go road walk now if I wanted to, and I think that would be a totally legitimate decision. But I'm gonna give it a shot because, to be honest, it sounds really fun. You know, I like a trail, but of course, part of me wants to be a great explorer and be capable of route finding through forests. And this sounds like maybe kind of a good way to test that out. It sounds like pretty open forest. Okay, so I made it to about mile 43.5 before I was like completely lost the trail now. Can't see any more blazes, and I probably could bushwhack the next 2.5 miles, but it's like getting really muggy and I'm super hungry. The bugs are kind of terrible in here. So I guess I'm not some wild frontiers woman. That's okay. So I'm gonna bushwhack out to the road and road walk down to CR 519. And hopefully that bushwhack goes okay.
I'm basically out of water right now, and map shows a bunch of little creeks crossing the trail, but they all look like this. And as soon as I pulled some of the water up, it just smelled like death. It smelled like sulfur and death. So, and actually the last time I drank water that smelled like that, it was coming out of the spring right before the Trap Hills by Old Victoria, the one Mary drove me back to. And we all know what happened after that. I got sick after that. So I don't know if they're related at all, but I do remember thinking at the time I was filtering that water like, this doesn't smell right. I love these peaceful little spots as much as the awesome grandeur spots. They're all mine. They're all mine.
I could sit here all night. But I'm stressing about finding a campsite at the campground. So, that dip felt so good. I feel like a new woman. Can't believe I'm almost done with the UP. I can't believe it.
Remind me, I hate camping at campgrounds. Why did I camp here tonight? I didn't even have a long day today. I could have just kept walking. I may have developed like an almost pathological intolerance of human noise. This is going to be an issue for re-entry. Luckily, I still have 3 months.
I am almost out of food, so I really got to get to town. Met an amazing couple last night, Ann and Randy. This is a perfect example of kind of trail. Alex calls it synchronicity. I think of it as kind of kismet. These, I don't know, just these little things that feel like kind of things are working out how they're supposed to. So I met a chapter member, Guilford, I believe, up on the trail above the Black River there, and he told me about a little shortcut to the campground back here, a little trail that runs down. So I wouldn't have known about that trail if I hadn't met Guilford. And then on that trail, I met Ann and Randy, and they hosted me for dinner last night, which, yeah, hiker hunger is officially kicked in for me. The plan for today is to get to Ironwood. This will be the 3rd time I've been there, but I've got only 7 miles of actual footpath remaining in Upper Peninsula. The other 28.5 miles left are road walking. North Country Trail walking waterfall tour. Before I got sick in the Trap Hills, I was feeling really sad about ending Michigan because of all the amazing people I've had here and the amazing hiking I've done. Then when I got sick and I was off trail for 11 days, when I came back, I was kind of desperate to finish the UP. I felt like I was never going to get out of here. You know, I've covered about basically 900 miles in 2.5 months. And now I have 3 months to do about 2/3 of that, or to do about 1,500 miles. So, I am not sure, you guys, if I'm going to make it, but I am just going to keep trying. So, I'm going to keep trying.
And that's the end of the certified trail miles in the Upper Peninsula. Whew. The UP did take everything I had. Oh man. I'm so happy and sad at the same time.
Well,
Guys,
we
this is
do.
Ann and Randy, who I mentioned earlier.
Almond butter or peanut butter on a rice cake?
Whichever. That's great.
That's almond butter right there.
Here, help yourself to any of this. And bag some up if you'd like. Take with you. These are almond crackers. Here's some raisins. These I think are a little stale. I'm not sure.
So thankful that I ran into Ann and Randy again. I was seriously out of food. I'm down to like 1 piece of jerky and a handful of sad gorp. Now I have 9.5 miles of road walking to the turnoff to Ironwood, which is then another 4.5 miles of road walking. Still hoping I find a vending machine or a store along this road walk because I want a cold drink. My head will be stuck in a stream today. Guaranteed. Jackpot! And I am also seriously tempted to take the gondola ride. Oh, no. I'm just showing, I was just talking to the video, I guess. Not a real it feels like people, but it's not. That I was hoping to come upon a store and then boom, like magic. Look at that. This is Holly.
Hi, everybody.
And Holly's mom, Judy, gifted me a ticket on the, what do we call this? The adventure ride at Copper.
Yes.
Yeah.
Adventure ride at Copper Peak.
That's awesome. So we're going up.
Here we are. Judy,
This
but
looks
there's
like
nothing
the real
out there.
That's a picture. We're just in an elevator right now. There's the lake. You really can't tell, but that's the lake in between that kind of swell.
And it's like
From rusting. It's 52 years old now. Should last another 150 years. Can stand winds in excess of 200 miles per hour. Those are gale storm winds coming off the pond over there.
Meeting Holly and Judy and Jack was so amazing. I feel like I just had amazing people experiences today. Randy and Ann, getting to run into them twice. People have just been kind of tucking me under their wing and being super kind to me. And it's amazing. My feet hurt a ton. I am just feeling like the pain all the way up into my hips at this point. And I think that's actually just a product of it being the end of this week and not having any rest yet. But all right, I got to get to town, so I'm going to hustle.